G'day everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going through my round 19 tips and predictions as well as reviewing my round 18 tips and predictions. Now if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos coming out. Enough wasting your time, let's get straight into it. Now last week I had a pretty average round of tipping with me getting 6 out of 9 tips correct. I think it's quite decent, but let me quickly go through the ones that I did get incorrect. The first tip I got incorrect was Hawks v Freo. Yeah, quite frankly, I just feel like that one was easy for me to tip, which it really shouldn't have been. I thought Freo, they were a top 4 side, which I think they still are. I think they've dropped down to 4th now. Yeah, they were in the top 4 when I was tipping. I thought, they will probably absolutely go out and smash the Hawks, even though it is being played at UTAS. But the home ground advantage gave the Hawks all they needed to get the job done, and yeah, the Hawks got the job done, and I got that tip incorrect, which was the first tip I got incorrect of the round. Next one I got incorrect was Dogs v Blues. I mean, the Blues are premiership contenders, you can't really blame me for tipping them, but the Dogs, they're a great side at Marvel Stadium, and yeah, they managed to pull off a win there. That does give the Dogs a little bit more hope moving forward into the season. Hopefully they're able to make finals, but yeah, it's really hard to tell this early, even though there isn't too many rounds to go. It is still too early to tell who's going to make finals. But yeah, pretty much the Dogs just got the better of the Blues, and that's the reason I got that one wrong. And the final tip I got incorrect was Melbourne v Essendon. Look, this one was a very hard game to tip. The only reason I did actually go through with tipping Essendon, I considered tipping Melbourne actually, but the reason I went through with tipping Essendon is because of the fact, Melbourne's midfield was really bad at the time. Christian Matraka, he was out, which we already knew was going to happen, but then Max Gorn was also out with an ankle injury. Yeah, so their midfield was sort of bad. They didn't really have a ruck, which I believe Harrison Petty was the one that stepped up to go on the ruck. But yeah, so it was sort of a really hard game to tip, but yeah, just because of the Melbourne's midfield, I decided to go with the D's. And it's sort of bad when you're seeing someone from the D's backline kicking 4 goals. But yeah, that's the reason I got that one incorrect. Now let's move on to the round 19 tips. Starting off for Friday, we've got Essendon v Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. Essendon are coming off a 17-point loss to the Melbourne Demons, and Adelaide are coming off a 32-point win. Mitchell Hinge is likely to return to the Crows side this week after he did get injured back in the round 17 clash against the Brisbane Lions. And as I was saying before, one of Essendon's backmen, being Nick Martin, managed to kick 4 goals in the game last week against Melbourne, which probably isn't the greatest look. You probably want your forwards kicking all the goals, not the backmen. But yeah, good on him, getting all those goals. Definitely well needed for him. Last week, Essendon only kicks 10 goals, meaning that Nick Martin kicks nearly half of their score. But realistically, the Bombers are in better form than the Crows, which is why I do have to tip the Bombers for this one. I'll go the Bombers by 30. Starting off for Saturday, we've got Suns v Giants at NG Stadium. The Suns have been unable to win a single away game this year, but I still think it'll be a close one because Jesse Hogan and Max King will be both goal chasing this game for sure, as they both are in the Coleman medal race, which I believe Ben King is only 3 goals behind Charlie Curnow, maybe a little bit more. I think it's actually 4. I think it's 4. But both these teams are for sure going into this game with a big smile on their face, considering they're both coming off a win, so you'd think they'd be quite confident going into this game, both teams. Although I think this will be a very, very close match, I will go with the Giants on this one, as they do have the home ground advantage, and I'll go the Giants by 20. Next game, Saints v Eagles at Marvel Stadium. With this game being St Kilda's home game, I think there is potential for this game to be a thriller, because we all know what happened the last time St Kilda played at Marvel Stadium. Next week, West Coast may see Jeremy McGovern return to their side, along with Jack Petrocelli. Now, obviously, a few weeks back, the West Coast Eagles did have to say goodbye to their senior coach, Adam Simpson, it's really sad to see a coach like him leave the Eagles. But yeah, I think it was his time to go. He had coached them for nearly a decade, maybe a little bit over a decade, actually. But yeah, so he had to say goodbye. But the Eagles seem to be doing just fine without him. I mean, they put up a good fight against the Brisbane Lions last week. But I still have a lot of hope for the Saints moving forward this season. I'm going to go the Saints by 17 points. Next game, Hawks v Pies at the MCG. Now, obviously, Jack Ginnivan will have the pleasure to play on the G against his former side, and I'm sure there will be a lot of booing going towards his direction. But I don't think he's a player that will really let any of that get to him, and I think he could have quite a good game against the Pies. I think he'll actually love the booing, to be honest. But this is definitely a must-win game for the Pies, as they are likely to not make finals this year, and if they would like to make finals, they've got to win 4 out of their next 6 to lock in a spot in the top 8. Now, the Pies did see the return of Jamie Elliott last week, who managed to score 2 goals in their clash against Geelong. But I think what is really killing the Pies, as of lately at least, is definitely their back line. Darcy Moore just kind of seems to give up every chance that the ball comes to him. And the Hawks this week will be putting a lot of defensive pressure on them, as they do have some of the best backmen in the league, actually, one of them being James Sicily. As much as I do want to tip the Pies to get the job done, I'm going to have to go the Hawks with this one. I'll go the Hawks by 11. Next one, Cats v Dogs at GMHBA. The Cats did look like they could be in trouble for the first 3 quarters last week against Collingwood, but the Pies threw it all away in the final quarter and the Cats got the job done. Obviously, the Cats are coming off a win, but the Dogs are also coming off a win, with them beating the second best side in the league, being the Carlton Blues. I'm sure there will be a lot of scoring happening from both ends, with Jamari Ugle-Hagan kicking 4 goals last week, and in the last 2 weeks, Jeremy Cameron has kicked a total of 7 goals. But with this game being played at GMHBA, I'm going to have to go the Cats by 9 points. Next game, we've got Port v Tigers at Adelaide Oval. Obviously, both sides are coming off a loss, with the Port Adelaide Power losing to the Suns last week by 14, and the Tigers losing to the Giants last week by 24. The Tigers have only won 2 games this year, and Port have won 5 times that, with them winning 10 games this season. The Power will see the return of Mitch McGovern this week after he was out with suspension, and Richmond may be welcoming back Seth Campbell back to their forward line, which is definitely what they needed last week, as they did put up a good fight last week against the Giants. Just what was killing them is just their forward line, quite frankly. But I think based off both these sides' positionings on the ladder and quite frankly their overall season, I'm going to have to go the Port Adelaide Power on this one, and I'll go Port by 30. Starting off for Sunday, we've got Lions v Swans at the Gabba. Now obviously the Lions do have Joe Danaher, who is actually currently averaging 2 goals per game. But the Swans have one up to them. They've got Joel Amati and Luke Parker scoring both 2 goals per game. Now Noah Ainsworth, who has been out since round 14 against the Saints, is likely to return to the Lions side this week. And Lachie Neale definitely will be trying to rack up some more Brownlow votes, as he is definitely very much in the competition for the Brownlow medal this year, with him in the last 2 games getting 30 plus disposals. Now while we are on the topic of disposals, last week Chad Warner managed to rack up 31 disposals, and not only that, Errol Goulden racked up 41. Now even though the Lions will have the home ground advantage, I think the Swans will just be a better side overall, and they're going to get the job done by 14. Coming to the final 2 games of the round, we've got Freo v D's at Optus Stadium. Now even though the D's are coming off a win and Freo are coming off a loss, quite frankly, it's being played at Optus Stadium. Freo are absolute guns at Optus Stadium, and if Freo want to prove that they are definitely going to go far in finals when they do make the top 8, well, they're top 4 at the moment, so they're definitely making the top 8 unless something really, really bad happens. Yeah, quite frankly, if Freo want to prove themselves this season, they're going to have to get the job done, especially at their home turf. So we're going to have to go Freo on this one by 30 points. And final game of the round, what a thriller this is going to be. Blues v North at Marvel Stadium. I'm not even going to waste your time on this one. Quite frankly, the Blues are contenders for the premiership this year. It's likely going to be a Swans v Blues grand final. And the Blues, like, if they want to prove that they're definitely back in the grand final this year, they can't be dropping games like this against North Melbourne. North Melbourne only winning 2 games so far this season. They're contending to not get the wooden spoon this year, while the Blues are contending for a premiership cup. So we're going to have to go the Blues by this one, by an absolute smashing. Let's go 51 points. And that just about wraps up this round of tipping. Now if you guys did enjoy this video, as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos come out. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.